Okay. Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for still being here with us on this second afternoon of Event Tech Live. Before we get started, a massive thank you to the Event Tech Live show sponsors Choose to Rent, as well as Kaltura, who have sponsored the theatre over here. So we're moving on now to our next session, entitled Why AI is the Future of Event Planning. I'm going to introduce Andrius Remeikis, who is VP of Growth at Eventsforce. If you haven't used them already today, you can follow the live captions over here with Interprify. If you do have any questions, do scan the QR code. You can access the Pigeonhole app or go to pigeonhole.at, and we'll get through as many of your questions as possible towards the end. So I'll hand over to you, Andreas.
Can everybody hear me okay? All right, well, I thought it was going to be a last session, and it turns out there's somebody else after me, so thank you for joining us. Now, imagine an event where every step of the attendee journey is seamlessly orchestrated, from registration to venue navigation to personalized recommendations, chatbots providing instant assistance, and AI-driven algorithms arranging seating for your attendees. Now hold that thought. Good afternoon, event heroes, tech gurus, and experience innovators. In today's fast-paced, data-driven world, event planning is no longer just about logistics and coordination. It's about crafting immersive experiences that leave a lasting impact. And in this game of creating unforgettable moments, artificial intelligence, as we know it, AI, is poised to be the ultimate game changer. Now, we will probably be familiar with the fact that AI has actually already revolutionized so many sectors and so many industries. So we're talking about healthcare, we're talking about finance, we're talking about retail. All of those have been completely revamped by AI. Doctors and medical staff are already making the decisions faster than they ever did before about the treatments and about medical combinations. Professional investors are making their decisions based on AI recommendations, and retailers are tailoring their spaces in response to AI-based algorithms of the basis of the historical data that they have about the visitors to their stores. So we truly believe that as an event sector, we can't be left behind in this revolution. And there is a lot for us to gain, and quite frankly, we can't afford to not embark on the journey of AI. So in today's presentation, we will cover some of the broader context in terms of what is AI, what is the place of AI in event planning, and we will also look at some very practical and some fun examples how AI, using the current technology that is already available, can be deployed to make your events successful and engaging. So, as Ian introduced me already, my name is Andrius Remeikis. I'm from Eventsforce. And we've been running for almost 20 years now in the event technology field. Currently have both US and UK-based teams, and we service several hundred clients worldwide. We process to the tune of tens of thousands of registrations through our system each year, and we host thousands of events on our platform. So we know a thing about successful event registration workflows. So let's talk a little bit about what AI is in general. So AI is a concept that refers to computing hardware being able to essentially think for itself and make decisions based on data that is being fed. Now, some of you may have heard, if you're into the subject, you may have heard more technical explanations, how exactly it does it, but effectively it learns on the patterns of creating the words and the sentences to make it sound more human. Now, what is AI's place in events? I don't know if any of you follow Julius Solaris. He's one of the influential figures in our industry. He recently made an observation after his recent visit. I believe it was in IMAX in Vegas. This is his quote, effectively talking about the market having a huge need for AI and the tech scene not quite being ready to service it yet. And so there is a misalignment between what is on offer effectively and what is the requirement. So what is really driving this demand forward? So there is a lot of demand, as we know, for personalized experiences. Time and resources, it's nobody's friend. Obviously, we know the shortages of resourcing in the industry at the moment. Everybody has a desire to make better decisions based on data. And where do we even start talking about, FOMO versus JOMO debate? For those of you who may not be familiar with those acronyms, fear of missing out versus joy of missing out. And so, we are effectively constantly competing against what is now becoming, JOMO instead of being a FOMO when it comes to events. So a little fun survey that we ran across our customer base, asking them about their input and their take of where they feel AI is and whether they're ready to embrace the AI. So we asked 3 very simple questions. I'm sure you can frame it in lots of different ways. One, as you can see, I'm all in, want to use it each time, every time, and I'm using it already. Number 2 is I would use it more, but tech platforms are not yet ready. And number C, go away with it. I need full control and full quality. And interestingly enough, and I was actually quite surprised in reading the responses when they started coming in, is that whilst you may not exactly say that it's an even split, but it's a very broad church. There isn't really one overwhelming feeling that I got that, yes, everybody's in it, or yes, everybody's against it. There was a number of people that were very particularly focused on the quality and therefore not feeling that what is currently available is good enough for them. And equally, some people just didn't know whether it's available in their tech, and some were actually fully embracing it, about 40% or so. So as you can see, very broadly split. So how AI can really help your events. And these are just some quite fun examples, and we'll go into a little bit more kind of even practical examples how it can work. But we see it from, first and foremost, really helping with some perhaps repetitive and time-consuming tasks. So generating personalized content, SEO, helping with identification of a target audience. Obviously, all of this is based on analytics and what you feed it in. So we ran a little example here of how it works. We had a bit of an issue earlier trying to play the video, so I'm not sure if you will see it, but Eventsforce platform already features AI-enabled copy generator functionality for microsite, for landing pages. So we recorded this little video to show how the tags can be put in, and basically how, based on few little sentences or few little tags and words, you end up with this copy that you have in front of you here. And as I said, apologies, the video wasn't quite playing here, but basically what happened is, we just put a couple of sentences based on the data that the system already holds on your event location and dates. This is an AI generated copy. I'm not going to read it all out, but for those of you, well, it's a bit difficult to see here, I appreciate, but it's basically a pretty neat copy. Now, does that answer all of the problems and all of the situations? Probably not, but it's a good start the way we see it. Now, where do we take it further? Obviously, mobile apps is quite a big thing for events increasingly nowadays. And this is another example, which I'm not going to show you now, but I can talk a little bit about it, that we launched within our mobile app just recently. It's being in beta testing phase at the moment, and we're releasing to wider user base in a due course. But effectively, we enabled a chat-based filtering system within your app. So in other words, at the large event, perhaps some events are 5 or 10 times larger than this, how do you know which session you will attend? How do you know which attendees or which exhibitors you should go and visit? So what you simply have to do is you put in the chat box and say, hey, which exhibitors I should visit to help me understand about this or that subject, which sessions are talking about this particular subject, which attendees are from particular industries. And so it helps you to effectively find the right content, find the right sessions and right exhibitors within your event. And obviously these are just baby steps, but again, it's a starting point, and we very much see that developing over the coming months. Now, everybody will know the importance of the invites. This is another example that we gave a prompt to GPT in helping to write an invite. We've given dates and location as prompt and told it what it should be targeting. And as you will see in the next slide here, it came up with this pretty neatly written out invite, which again, it may or may not be a finished product in everybody's eyes, but it's largely done the heavy lifting in terms of writing a copy. Now, you can refine it again by perhaps copy pasting the same copy into a chat or GPT chat and ask it to edit or cut the copy or use a different tone of voice. So you can easily still refine that. Another example, speaker bios. Obviously, we have a lot of sessions in many of the events, and so speaker bios is something to have a consistent tone of voice, and writing up is a challenge, as we know. And so once you finally source the speakers for your event and you've briefed them and set the expectations and you're excited to welcome them, and how do you then start promoting them? So this is a little fun example that we did again. We asked ChatGPT to write a speaker bio for Bill Gates. Now, you may not have Bill Gates speaking at your event, but again, you can use this as an example for any other kind of background speaker. A few more examples here. So agendas and sessions. Again, we did a prompt to asking it to create an agenda for specific dates, again, specific location, giving few other prompts and criteria here. And as you can see, it came back with this example that you see in front of you here. So hopefully you slowly building up more of a picture in terms of what it's capable of. So let's talk about some tips now in terms of what you actually need to do to get the most of any AI kind of chat or ChatGPT, BART, or whatever else that you might be using. So it's really great for creating new content, but after a while, I think, as most of you will know by now, it becomes increasingly easy to recognize. So sometimes you just see something written and it's kind of, it's written by AI. So you can actually ask it to keep refining the tone of voice, and you can give it very specific prompts of how you want it to sound. So don't think that the original kind of output, that you're only limited to that. Same with choosing the length of the copy and asking it to limit either to the length of the words or the length of the paragraphs or the length of what you will get in the end as the overall copy. So you can really specify all of these, and you can ask to make text shorter, summarize, longer copy perhaps, or even comment or make any other suggestions. The next part is really choosing your audience. So setting the right tone of voice for your audience is important. So for example, if you have a youth congress that you're running, the tone of voice might be very different, and expectations will be very different to a gathering of retired judges. So again, it's important to hit that tone really well. And so just for fun, we asked ChatGPT to write an invite for an event taking place at Buckingham Palace on Christmas Day in 2023. Free drinks, medieval feast, entertainment, is a live band and a jester. Write this in a short form as a Shakespearean poem. Pretty in-depth and pretty detailed request. So this was our prompt. We recorded a video with an avatar actually reading it out, but unfortunately, again, we kind of ran in a bit of a technical difficulty in being able to play that. But this is really the text in front of you that you have, so you can read it really quickly here. Hark, noble souls, a royal fete to share at Buckingham in Yuleid in sweetest air, on Christmas Day in regal grand display. We bid you join our merry hearts to sway. And so it goes on, and it reads out at the very end an invitation to RSVP, send word without delay, and join us on this festive day at Buckingham Palace, where dreams take flight in 2023 on Christmas night. So it's really done, a rhyming and the style and everything else. So as you can see, if you can really kind of copy and follow the gist of Shakespeare, I'm sure it can do, something a little bit more straightforward. So hopefully that gave you a bit of an impression. And yes, this was our avatar that we actually asked to read that back. And unfortunately, we lost the voiceover here for this presentation. So apologies about that, but hopefully my little summary did a good job here. So with that in mind, we are coming to an end of this presentation, and I just wanted to reiterate again that we are on the precipice of something that is quite seismic, that is coming and impacting every single industry. And of course, it would be unrealistic to think that events will not be impacted by that. So play around with it, embrace it as baby steps, not necessarily something quite revolutionary, but there's a lot more on the horizon that we're seeing right now, and I'm pretty sure most of the players in this room, if they're not as vocal as I was about what we're working on, I'm sure they're doing stuff in the background that soon they will, you will see a lot of similar concepts popping up. So I will open the floor to a few questions, as I'm sure you might have at this point.
Thank you, Andrius. As you say, we're on the precipice of something very, very big, and there's been a lot of conversations and sessions the last 2 days that have mentioned AI, but I think you've given some really helpful bite-sized tips there for people that are looking to embrace AI and try things for the first time. So thank you for that. Any other questions for Andrius? Apologies, the questions aren't coming up on here. There aren't any in the app right now, but anyone would like to ask anything or add any other thoughts? Okay, well, thank you very much. Hopefully some tips there that you guys can take away and use. Thanks, Andrius.
No problem. Thank you.